From unsolved mysteries to unexplained phenomena, from comedy gold to relationship fails, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Because the only thing that should interrupt your listening is, well, nothing. Download the Amazon Music app today.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Let's just say they ended up on the list, right?
Yeah.
And I did all my forgiveness stuff, and I was on Facebook one day, and I saw their name, and usually seeing their name would send me to the stratosphere, right? I didn't care. And I caught myself. I was actually sitting right here in this office, and I thought, I don't care. And it was like this aha moment. It's like, wait a minute, I don't care. Even wish them a happy birthday. That's the sweet spot. You won't care. You're not going to think good thoughts. You're not going to think bad thoughts. You won't care. We're at neutrality, baby, and that's what you want.
Yes.
You don't care. I can see this person at a party, or I can see their name on Facebook or whatever social media, and I don't care. That's what you're going for, because now they're out of your head.
Do you ever feel like no matter what you do, it's not good enough? Like perfect is the only standard, but you're still left feeling behind? Perfectionism keeps us stuck. It robs us of peace, of our joy, and the freedom to just be. That's why I created Beauty of Imperfection, Good is Enough, a guided workbook to help you let go of the pressure, quiet your inner critic, and start celebrating progress over perfection. Inside, you'll find tools that remind you your worth has never depended on being perfect. It's time to embrace the beauty of imperfection, because good really is enough. Let me remind you, you are always worthy. You already are. Get your copy of my workbook today. Emotionally unavailable. Welcome to Emotionally Unavailable, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of emotional availability and intimacy. I'm your host, Malisa Hepner, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join me on this journey of self-discovery and connection. Whether you're navigating the complexities of relationships or exploring your own emotional landscape, this podcast is here to inspire, empower, and entertain. So get cozy and let's explore the depths of human emotions together. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Today, we're talking with Katharine Giovanni, a 3-time award-winning best-selling author, speaker, and one of the original founders of the independent concierge industry. She's the author of more than a dozen books, including her latest, The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness, Unlocking Your Power. Katharine's journey is one of extraordinary resilience. She's a stage 3 breast cancer survivor who overcame a traumatic childhood, and those experiences now fuel her mission to help others heal. Through her work as a transformation mentor and intuitive, Katharine empowers people to release guilt, shame, and emotional blocks, guiding them toward lasting freedom and self-awareness. Today, she's here to share powerful insights, deeply human stories, and transformative tools, especially around the power of forgiveness that just might shift the way you think about healing and about yourself. So, I loved meeting her. Felt very kindred spirit. She's so fiery. I love it so much. anyway, I just had a really good time with her. And she's very, very, very down to earth, which I super appreciate, because before we started, I gave her the spiel of like, hey, you'll be featured in the intro, don't you worry. And she's like, I ain't even worried about it. So anyway, I had a really good time with her. But I do want to address the fact that talking about forgiveness, especially if you just look at the title, I know it can be kind of triggering, and we addressed that within the episode. And I know I use very careful language around forgiveness in the same way that I remember when people would say, like, you're not going to progress if you don't find love for yourself. And I would be like, well, I'm going to have to try, because I don't see that happening. And I feel like for people who feel really hopeless in certain aspects, that they can be really triggered and turned off to a concept because they're like, well, I'm never going to be there. So that does, I guess I won't even try. And I think the same thing can be said about forgiveness, because we address the fact that we're talking about forgiveness in general, but also forgiving the unforgivable. And so I want to talk about that. I always will meet you where you are. If you aren't ready, you're not ready. But that's the beautiful thing that Katharine teaches about forgiveness, is that it is an energy. So that's the part I want to address in this intro really quick. Forgiveness really is a sacred release, and it frees you. It frees your spirit from carrying the resentment that weighs you down. But it's not done in the way that we think, or the way I guess we've been programmed to believe. Spiritual forgiveness is not done in the way that we've been programmed to believe that forgiveness should be done. And it really does restore peace by dissolving those energetic ties that keep you bound to your past hurts. And that's something that Katharine addresses beautifully. Literally, I will make sure there's a link to this book, but she is very, very good at explaining this, and also she's so right, okay? So we want to choose forgiveness because it aligns us with love and with compassion, and it's hitting on that higher level of consciousness that we're really trying to get to. And it allows you to reclaim your power. So I don't want to say too much more in that realm, because I know that we've heard it all before, and that I just want you to really, I guess the reason I'm saying all this is because I want you to go into this conversation with a very open heart, because it is not what you think it is, okay? So today I would love if after you hear this, you choose a person or situation or even a part of yourself that you've been holding in resentment, and forgive it. That's, I think, the biggest part is in everything that we're still holding on to those hurts with other people, there is a hurt at ourselves locked away in there too. So at least forgive yourself for whatever it is somewhere deep in you think you need to from those interactions. And just, take 3 slow breaths, and with each exhale, just say, I release you, I forgive you, I set myself free. And just notice how your body gets so much lighter when you do that. So, like I said, go into this episode with an open heart, because we are teaching forgiveness in a way that I've never, I've thought about it a lot since this conversation with Katharine, but this is not the way I viewed forgiveness before. And I would love your feedback too. If any of you out there have struggled with forgiveness, at least tell me what you thought about her explanation of it. And, resistance keeps you stuck. So remember that. So even if you are still I'm not going to forgive them, at least don't resist the idea that there may be one day that you could. And again, listen to the episode, because she teaches forgiveness in a way that you've never heard it, I promise. It really is about an energetic release, not the way you've been taught. So I love you. I'm so grateful that you're here. This podcast is changing lives, man. And so thank you for riding on this train ride with me. It is up and down for sure, but I feel like I'm finally starting to get some things figured out, and I'm really happy about that. And I'm grateful for every single one of you. So, Katharine, if you listen, I'm grateful for you too. Make sure to check the show notes. I forgot to say that. I'll include all of her links, and especially, I guess you can get her books from her website. So just when I include that link, just go there. So, all right, guys, I love you. Here's me and Katharine Giovanni. Emotionally unavailable.
Okay, so I looked at your Podmatch profile again this morning, and I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm going to look again. You help people drop the baggage, keep the wisdom, and heal through forgiveness. The reason I
I
feel
do.
like this conversation is really well timed is because in my own personal journey, forgiveness is kind of a recent piece for me. I went through a large portion of my life able to forgive, but I wasn't letting go of anything. Like, I was doing the talk to yourself, rely on self-control and discipline. But recently, because I've learned how to forgive myself and have compassion for myself, I was able to see things a little differently. I was raised primarily by my narcissistic grandma, and of all the abusive things my parents did, the things they did didn't leave as lasting of an impact. Like, yes, trauma brain happened because of them, but the
Sure.
things my grandma did were really psychological warfare because she was a narcissist. And so in my adult life, when I finally faced that fact, I spent so many years in anger. And I would be
Yeah.
really triggered when people would talk about forgiveness being key to healing, because I was like, well, I want to heal, but I also am not ready to let go. So I kind of quit resisting for a long time and said, I'm going to there's not hatred per se, but I'm not ready to let go of these feelings. And then
But
recently
you're
I
but
got
you're
there.
every human being on the planet, because that's the problem with forgiveness. When you think forgiveness, first of all, there's two things. First of all, everybody tells you to forgive, nobody teaches you how. I'll
Right.
do it. I just want teach me how, step by step. Step 1, step 2. Nobody does that. I teach the how. But the second part of it is on a forgiveness scale, with 10 being unforgivable, dumpster fire, horrific, and 1 being the easiest person in the world to forgive. Every human on the planet thinks of their number 10 person, and that's why nobody wants to talk about it, and that's why nobody wants to do it. They also think that if I forgive you, first of all, we'll talk about forgive and forget. I'm from New York, honey. We don't forget anything. But, I'm
I
just
love
saying,
that. I love it. I
right?
don't either.
No, we don't forget. But the thing about forgiveness is what we've been taught. And I think it stems from our childhood when the kindergarten, somebody punches you in the eye and the teacher comes over and goes, now, Johnny, you go back and play with this person. Say you're sorry to each other. Well, you don't want to say you're sorry. They just punched you in the eye. But you have to
Mhm.
because you're a little kidlet. So I think that's where this comes from. And I think it's if I forgive you, that means I'm giving in. That means I'm
Mhm.
accepting the fact that you were right and I was wrong. It does
Oh,
not.
yeah.
First of all, just because I forgive you doesn't mean I want a relationship with you. I probably don't. If you're a narcissist, you're horrible. I mean, I have boundaries in place. Frankly, they're going to stay there. I don't want a relationship with you. I'm forgiving for
Yeah.
me, not for you. The second thing is just because I forgive you doesn't mean you were right. Forgiveness
Right.
for me, the formal definition, here's the definition. I want you out of my head. That's it. I want to stop thinking about you. I want to stop dreaming about you. I want you
Mhm.
gone out of my head. Period. The person who you're mad at is not thinking about you at all. It's like your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, right? They're dating again. They're going out. They're having fun. They're living their life, and you're sitting in the middle of the kitchen with a 6-pack of beer and a pint of Ben and Jerry's, and you're miserable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're the one who's miserable. There was I can't remember who said it. Buddha, I think, said anger is like taking poison and hoping the other person dies.
Yes. So
There
you
you
do
go.
equate, not forgiving to holding on to anger.
Well, let me give you an example. For anybody listening to the broadcast, I'm about to hold a purple cup right in front of my face. This purple cup represents anger. When you first get angry, well, look at my body language. I'm holding it off to the side. It's easy. I can manage my anger. This is easy. Your parents, your
Mhm.
friends, your therapist, you need to do something about that anger. You need to forgive. No, I got it. I can conduct my life. But here's the thing, the longer you hold on to your anger, the harder it's going to be and the heavier it's going to get. And eventually, now I've got two hands I'm
Yes.
using to hold up the cup. My life hasn't stopped exactly. You and I could still have a conversation, but it's starting to trip me up. And then if I continue to hold on to
Yeah.
the anger and I don't forgive and I don't release some of it, well, now I'm holding the cup in front of my face. My life has stopped. You and I can't have a conversation anymore. It's all I can talk about. It's all I can think about. It's all I can dream about. Nobody wants to talk to me because I'm angry all the time and I'm sick and I'm tired. So my system is going to allow you to finally put that cup that was here over to the side. And if you keep working the system, then you'll be able to put it down. Now I can become the person I came to the planet to be.
And I love the way
I,
you're putting that because for me, the anger, the pain, it was a weight,
yeah.
that was always there, always, and
But
I
that's the thing. It is always there. It's the weight. I come from a pretty dysfunctional background too, and it's there. And you think about it. You think about it all the time. It's in your conversations, and sometimes you've got this stinking thinking, and it's just horrific. So how do you forgive? And what if it's unforgivable? There are things in the world that are unforgivable. There might be
Mhm.
some unicorn, hippy dippy Susie Sunshine person that's on the planet somewhere that can forgive these things, but I'm probably not one of them. So what do you
Right,
do? Okay.
right.
Well, the first part of the system is I don't want you to start with the bad ones. I want you to start with the easy ones. The kid who tripped you in school back in grammar school. You're going to start with the easy ones and you're going to work your way up through the system. And the thing about the system that makes it so unique from everybody else's is I get people all the time, and I'll tell the system step by step for your viewers, but um, they say, "Well, Catherine, I did do the work. I did forgive them." Yeah, you did. But they have a nasty habit of not staying forgiven because you keep getting triggered. You smell something, you see them, you have to go to a family, Thanksgiving, and you have to deal with these people. So you get angry again, and somebody has to peel you off the ceiling for 2 weeks because you're just crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, the reason they don't stay forgiven is because you didn't forgive the energy.
Oh.
Science has proven that energy is neither created nor destroyed. So when you get angry, everybody thinks, actually, nobody thinks this. Nobody even gives it a second thought. But what you think happens, if you thought about it, is the anger leaves your mouth and it dissipates into the air. It does not. It hangs around your energy field until you clear it.
Mm.
So and everything on our planet has energy around it, including objects. So when you're trying to forgive the unforgivable, I've been telling people for years, you don't have to forgive the unforgivable. Stay with me. The reason you don't have to is because there's a lot of people, places, and things, and I did say places and things, please don't click off, that you can forgive before you even get to that dumpster fire.
Mhm.
And it's the
Yeah.
energy that everybody's missing. You didn't forgive the energy. That's why they're not staying forgiven. That's why you're still kind of energetically tied to these horrible people.
I've never heard it put that way, but that is beautiful. That like, I feel what you mean by that.
Yeah. Well,
That's crazy.
let me go through the system real quick, and it's in the
Yeah.
book. I've got worksheets and all that kind of stuff. Go to Amazon, blah, blah, blah. But what I want you to do is I want you to sit down in a room alone. Here's the big ask. I want your technology to be off. I know you're visibly twitching. I know people are having a problem with it. And if you're twitching, turn the volume off because if your phone starts to vibrate and dance in your desk, you're going to want to know who it is. I
Mhm.
just need you alone for a few minutes. And I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen. or your phone. I really don't care. And I want you to write down all the people you think you need to forgive. Now, the first 5 names are going to be horrible people. They're going to be what you would call the unforgivables. Your grandmother, to use you as a guinea pig.
Mhm.
But I want you to keep going. I want you to think about grammar school. I want you to think about people you were in the sandbox with, high school. I want you to think about your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, however old you are. Think about the people you work with. Think about the person who stole your parking spot at the grocery store yesterday. I get shopping cart road rage in the grocery store because, you've got these people. They're in the middle of the aisle. Come on, let's at least let me by.
Mhm.
Forgive that person. Your Super Bowl team lost the Super Bowl. Okay, we're almost in August now, so I really think you could forgive that Super Bowl team. Then I want you to get this list. Don't judge the list. If you write a name down that you don't recognize, don't judge it. Keep it there. If you write the name Tom down, you don't remember a Tom, I don't care. At some point you knew a Tom. Leave it there. And then
Mhm.
I want you to rate the list, the people in the list from 1 to 10. 10 being awful, 1 being the easiest person in the world to forgive. And then when you sit down, I want you to never doing more than 5 to 10 a night, and there's a reason behind that. I want you to start with the 1s and work your way up to the 10s. And
Mhm.
what you're going to do is you're going to look at the first name on the list. Let's call this person Claire. I don't have any Claires in my family, so
I
it's
was about
easy.
to say, "Who's your Claire?"
Nobody, nobody. Why don't we could call it Karen, because everybody knows a Karen. Let's use the name
Yeah,
Karen, right?
yeah, yeah.
You're gonna forgive Karen. That's a really good name to think, right? And if it's somebody you grew up with in childhood, I don't want you to see the adult in front of you. I want you to imagine this person as the original person you knew, the kid. And if you can't
Mm.
imagine the person in your mind's eye, then talk to a chair. Right? I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, I'm very intuitive, so I can easily imagine things. Can you see your childhood bedroom in your mind right now?
Mhm.
Can you see the color of the walls?
Yes.
That's clairvoyance. That means that it doesn't mean you're gonna see a ghost walk through your office door. You might, but you probably won't. What it means is you see your intuition works through your senses. You see it, feel it, hear it, or know it. It's another book I wrote called The Little Bird in Your Shoulder, because of course I did. But I want you to imagine that this person is standing in front of you. Now, this is your chance to get closure if you need to. You're alone in a room. Nobody else is there with you, maybe the dog, right? So you could say anything you want to this person. Let them have it. I don't care what you say. And then when you're done, I want you to put your hand on your heart and I want you to say, I completely forgive Karen. I forgive the energy around Karen. I've completely forgive myself. I forgive the energy around myself. I completely forgive the energy around the entire situation. And so be it. Amen. Go with God. End it any way you like. Now, think about the name. Is that name still a 1 or has it been tossed? Tossed? Great. Cross it off the list. Go to the next name. Was it a level 3 person and you're still kind of angry? You look at the name and you're good, there's a little zing there. Okay, cross the 3 off. Maybe it's a 2 now. Write the 2, wait 24 hours, do it again. This happened to a friend
Wow.
of mine. We were together at the time and I watched her do it. It was a level 4 person. She said the mantra. And then I said, now, what is it? Is it still a 4? She said it's a 10. What happened? It went the other way. Well, see, the brain is a marvelous tool and it protects you. There's a
Mhm.
closet in the back of your mind, and it's got a movie in there that's just running. You turn it off if you knew it was there, but you didn't know it was there. And what the
Right.
forgiveness did is it opened up that closet, and your brain's like, oh, Melissa is ready for these memories. And
Oh my
floods your brain with the
gosh.
memories. And that's what happened. She'd forgotten, and her brain had flooded her with memories of this person. And she's like, wait a minute, I'm pissed. I'm mad. So you cross off the 4, you put a 10, put that at the back of the line, and you go to the next person on the list that's labeled a 2, a 3, or a 4, and you keep going. But there's a reason. I only want you to do 5 a night. If you're doing a high level person, and we could talk about how to forgive the 10s, um, there's a little trick to it. If I want to, years ago, an American Indian taught me that you can get energy sickness. And when I use myself as a guinea pig, I do my own exercises. I did this list. I'm a little bit of an overachiever. Again, I know that's a shocker. Contain yourself. So when I did my list, I had like 50 names on it, maybe 60. And I thought,
Dang.
this is gonna be great. I'm going to kick it all off in one night because I want you to do it before you go to sleep because your body heals itself when it's sleeping. And this is gonna be great. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm gonna be like a butterfly, and all my past is gonna be gone. I'm gonna get rid of it, and tomorrow's gonna be a new day. Yeah, well, the
That's
universe
not how
has a
that went.
no, the universe has a good sense of humor. It did not work out that way. I did forgive many people on the list. 100% I did. I also spent the next 3 days in bed with what everybody thought was a stomach flu. It was not. It was
Yeah.
my body, it was energy sickness, and it was my body trying to toss decades of anger, and it needed a few days to catch up. So that's why I want you to do it before bed because your body heals itself when it's sleeping, and you've forgiven because I usually feel energy in my solar plexus. It just you kind of feel like a little shift. Some
Mhm.
people, most people, 9 out of 10 people get super tired. Really tired. So you may wanna start this practice after dinner, on a night where you know you can go to bed early or do it right before bed, right?
Yeah.
Um, some people are in the bathroom for a while. You didn't eat a piece of bad fish. It's okay. Your body's just getting rid of it's just clearing. That's all it's
It's a
doing.
toxin, yeah.
It's a toxin, and if you're doing a number 10 person, my co-author Katie, my partners, Katie and Paula, they'll tell you do 1 a night, and I will too. If you're doing a level 8, 9, or 10 person, only do 1 because it's gonna take some time, and you're not gonna get a number 10 down to a 1 overnight.
Right.
Not gonna happen. This is a journey. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. But the
I
reason
love
you
that.
start with the easy ones is because you're gonna start to feel better. People are gonna notice. You're probably you're gonna start taking care of yourself. You're gonna start noticing things. Why? Well, let's go back to the cup. Because now instead of looking at the world through my anger, by forgiving the easy ones, I've managed to ease up the cup and now I can see life. I can see cures for my cancer. I can see good foods that are healthy. Maybe I might quit drinking, that kind of thing. You're going to be able to see your way out of the anger.
Yeah. Well, and you're not trying to avoid something all the time
No.
that's there even when you don't even realize it.
Well, and I get a lot of people who don't want to go back to their past, and I get that. I didn't either. But I'm only asking you to go back a couple more times to clear it once and for all. See, I did grow up with 2 alcoholic, parents. I tried to commit suicide in the 8th grade because I was getting bullied in school and on and on and on it went. Now
Yeah.
went back in the day, I used to wear that as a badge of honor. I've also been sober for 33, 34 years, something like that. So I could
I
look back
wondered,
at
you
my
said stinking thinking, and I was like, that's an AA term.
yes, it is. I've been sober for decades. And I used to wear all that stuff as a badge of honor. Look what I've survived. Look at me. Look how great. I've got this red cape and I'm superwoman because I survived all this stuff. But here's
Yeah.
the thing. I was still talking about it. There was
Mhm.
anger behind my words. Even though I spun them funny, I was still angry. So now I look back at my childhood and all those years, and I could probably dredge up the bad things if you really pulled them out of me. But what really has happened is I haven't forgotten. I just, I don't remember the bad stuff anymore. I remember the good things. I remember the love that was there. I remember the people that were trying to help that kid. That's what I remember. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as forgive and forget. It doesn't exist. You're never going to forget. But what you will do is you'll start to remember the love instead of the hate.
Yeah.
And if you're
Do you
wondering
think
what that
too
noise is, it's my cat. She was hiding and I couldn't get her out of the room
Oh,
before the
that's so
podcast. I have
funny.
I tried. I apologize, but
No, I
that's how it was.
understand. I have animals too. I had to rid myself of 4 dogs out of my room before we started. I'm kind of thinking too, I'm having watery eyes in Oklahoma today. I'm kind of thinking too, for me,
Mhm.
sometimes whenever an interaction with someone just really activates me, and I've gone through the process, and I mean even strangers, which you said too, so I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Um, but I'm thinking this is a great practice for releasing that energy whenever, because I will find myself in a little loop where I'm like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I understand what happened and done, but I've still got the energy of the interaction. I feel like this is a good practice to incorporate into your daily life.
Sure it is. I've been known to go to my car and say, "I completely forgive them," because you're so caught up in the moment. But it's
Yeah.
all about the energy. That's what it is. Forgiveness is energy. It's like money is energy. Everything is energy, and if you don't forgive the energy, it's gonna follow you around. So let's take one of my own number 10s. Let's take, the bully in school, right? And I wasn't ready to forgive the bully. I really didn't want to. And I didn't even wanna forgive the energy around the bully. I really
Yeah.
didn't.
I
So
can understand that.
I picked apart the memory. See, let's say one day you're driving to work and you usually make a left at the red light, and then today you're going to make a right hand turn. You don't know why. The little bird in your shoulder told you to make a right. You don't know. You just gut instinct. So you went right. You didn't even think about it. You were probably
Mhm.
singing to the music, but it took you by your old high school. You saw
Mm.
it out of the corner of your eye, paid no attention to it because, well, why would you? By the time you get to work, you had a brilliant morning. It's a beautiful day, sunny skies, great coffee, everything. You got up on time, everything worked. But by the time you get to work, you're grumpy and you don't know why. And you blow the PowerPoint presentation, but you were prepared. And everybody's looking at you saying, "What is wrong with you?" I know what's wrong with you. You passed your high school and it triggered a memory, and it triggered a memory in
Mhm.
that back closet. Your brain remembered. So, how do you remove the triggers? How do you stop that from happening? When you see somebody and you're triggered and you're right back in the memory, you pull apart the memory. So, I forgave my childhood school, the building. Not kidding. Say, I completely forgive my elementary school building. I forgive the energy around the building. I forgave the desk that I sat at. I forgave the chair. I forgave the classroom. I forgave the swing set. I forgave the playground. I forgave the kids who stood around and didn't help me. I
Yeah.
forgave every part of it. Now, once I forgave that and the energy around all of these things, it eased it up a little bit. I forgave New York City and the energy around New York City. I forgave 1974 because
No, I love this.
that's the year I tried to commit suicide, so I thought I'm just gonna forgive the whole dumb year, and I pulled the year apart, but I also forgave the year. And by doing that, I checked in with myself, and I wasn't ready to forgive the bully yet, but I was ready to forgive the energy around the bully, and that took it from a 10 to a 9.5. This is why it takes time. So then you sit
Yeah.
on it for 24 hours, and then maybe you try it again the next night or a week or a month from now, and you keep chipping at that number 10. But remember, you've already gone through and forgiven all the people from 1 to 7, and now you're working with the hard ones. And your
Yeah.
own name should go on the list. Because
Yes,
sometimes
absolutely.
forgiving yourself is your number 10. Now, how do you forgive yourself? This is the first book of several in a series, and the second book is going to be more about how to forgive yourself. But my answer is the same. I want you to write a list, and here's the twist. Instead of people that you want to forgive, it's people who need to forgive you.
Oh.
And then I want you to rate them from 1 to 10, and I want you to start with the ones and work your way up. But that's list number 2. I actually want you to do the first list first. Don't We wanna walk before we can run and then jog and then sprint, right? So the
Right.
first list is the first one I want you to do.
And okay, so let's say that the worst of the worst of the worst happened with this person, and that's the thing you're trying to forgive, and like, you did your first one, and yeah, it helped a little bit, but you're just not ready to make this nightly. Do you recommend that at whatever interval you're gonna do this practice, that you put it in a calendar and, like, stick to it,
right?
or just more cash?
For me, it was more casual because I'm intuitive, so when the names came into my head, I would do it, but if you're
Okay.
one of those people that really needs structure, then put it on the calendar, and the first of every month, I'm gonna make a st I'm gonna make a swipe and see if I can forgive this number 10 person.
Oh,
Now
I love
remember,
that.
you don't have to forgive your number 10 unforgivable people. You can forgive parts of the memory, you can forgive the people, the places, the objects, the buildings, the dates, the city. You can forgive yourself for anything you may or may not have done,
Mhm.
and maybe that's enough, because that's just enough to unblock you and allow you to continue living your life. There are some things that are unforgivable, and if you're one of the people that has one of those in your life, then you can forgive everything in the memory but that person, and that's fine. And I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
love
tell
how
you
you're
what
framing it as not a one size fits all of
No, and
forgiveness.
what you think is a 10, I may think is perfectly easy. Everybody has a cap. Everybody has that line that they draw in the sand that's unforgivable, and everybody's a snowflake. Everybody's different.
Mhm.
So here's the physical for all the people who are itching for science. Here's what happens to your body when you do forgive. There was a study done, it's called the Japanese water study, and it's very famous. It's right online, you can Google it. And what this gentleman did is he took 2 containers of water. I'm just simplifying it. One container of water, all he did was speak love to it. I love you, the most beautiful loving words in the world. That's all he did. The other container of water, he just spoke hate to. Horrible, nasty, the worst of the worst. He spewed at this glass of water. He then froze the water and put him under a microscope.
Mm.
The water he spoke love to had these beautiful crystal formations that were absolutely drop dead gorgeous. The water he spoke hate to looked sick, malformations, black and brown, kind of diseased.
Yeah.
So, why am I telling you this? Your body is over 95% water. So when your self-talk is bad, when you're filled with hate from your childhood or the person who stole your PowerPoint yesterday or whatever it is, what do you think you're doing to the water cells within your own body? You're literally making yourself sick from the inside
Yeah,
out.
you're destroying yourself. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you've
Water
made me,
molecule by
like,
water
think of
molecule.
the people that I'm still like, because I don't think, in the conscious that I'm still holding on to stuff, but then I just got, like, flooded with, like, 5 people I need to do this about.
And everybody does. They hear these broadcasts and they're maybe I got it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, but make sure don't start with the hard ones, like your grandmother, for
Yeah.
example, or my
Yeah.
father. It took me a long time to forgive my father. It didn't happen in a week or a month. It took me a long time. But while I was on the journey to forgive my father, and he's been dead a long time, you can forgive dead people because where they are or are not doesn't matter a lick. You're not forgiving for them. It's not like AA. You don't have to reach out. You don't have to call them. You don't have to make amends unless you
Yeah.
want to. You sit in the quiet of your own home all alone. Nobody has to know you're doing this. They're
Well, and I
gonna
think
know
you just made a
because you're
beautiful
gonna
point.
change.
Forgiveness does not equate to amends. It's not the same thing. They mean
It is
different
not the same
things.
thing. You do it for you. It's selfish. It's the ultimate selfish act. You forgive for you because you're the prisoner, not them. They
Yeah.
could give
Ooh.
a damn what you're doing. You're the one who's a prisoner, and if they've died, okay, it doesn't matter because they're alive and well in your head. So, it
It was
doesn't
a lot
matter.
easier to get to the forgiveness with them all being dead, honestly, because
Yeah,
if I had
it
if
actually
I had
was.
tried forgiveness, like, in the traditional sense, they would have just continued to deflect and defend anyway. So but the way we've been taught to go about this, that's why it's so ineffective. We're using all the wrong tools.
So, what happens when your number 10 is still alive and it's a family member and you get invited to Christmas dinner? What do you do? Okay, well, You work on your forgiveness, and I want you to pick out memories with this person. Let's call it Aunt Martha. Again, I don't have a Aunt Martha, or maybe we'll just say Aunt Karen because we used that before. So it's Aunt Karen. And I want you to pick out some memories with this person. And then I don't want you to forgive Aunt Karen. I want you to forgive the chair she sat in, the table, the food in the table. I'm not kidding. I want you to forgive the other chairs. I want you to forgive the room where the meal happened, the house where it happened, the car you drove to get there, the person who invited you to the party. Forgive all these other things. Then pick another memory and then see if you can make it past it, Aunt Karen. No? Okay, pick another memory, keep going. So do
Mhm.
that a few months before you go. What's going to happen when you see Aunt Karen? Aunt Karen is going to be Aunt Karen. She's probably an alcoholic. She drinks and she smells because she doesn't shower very much. You know this going in. And you know you're probably the poor sucker that's going to sit next to her every year because you always do, even though you bitch and complain about it, excuse my
Mm.
language. You know? So what's gonna happen? Well, you're gonna know going in what she's gonna do, so you're probably gonna laugh. It's not gonna affect you anymore. She's gonna push your buttons, which classically, you rose to the occasion, it bothered you. She knew exactly what buttons to push, and they make you mad. They're not gonna make you as mad this time because they're not.
Well, you don't have all that past energy
You
attached to
don't have
this
that past energy.
experience.
Is she still gonna be horrible? Of course she is, but it's gonna be like water off a duck's back. Is that gonna make her irritated and angry? Yes, entertainment side benefit for you,
Right,
because it's gonna
right.
make her irritated, and you're gonna know exactly why she's getting mad, and it's actually gonna be very entertaining.
Ugh,
So,
I love
this stuff
this.
really, really works. I've had clients and I've had people that just it's amazing how quickly this works, even with forgiving the people you would rate a 1, a 2, or a 3. This stuff really does work.
Yeah. Well, because I I think, like, with the fact that 5 people popped up in my brain, like, "Oh, you know what? I really probably am carrying that energy still." Um, Imagine all of the ones that we're not consciously aware of.
Yeah,
That's a lot of weight to
that's
carry.
a lot of weight. One of my closest friends put down a little red wagon on her first list. She had no idea why she wrote down the little red wagon. She didn't remember a little red wagon, but some part of her must have been mad at the damn thing because it did something in her childhood, so she forgave it. That's what I'm saying. Don't judge the list that you wrote. Just write from your heart. Write names even if you don't understand where they came from, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It might have been from, it might have been names from any time in this lifetime or even another lifetime. Not to pull people's brains apart, but it could be, you don't know where it came from. Don't judge the list. Write it, forgive it, move on.
Yeah, ooh. Well, and truly, I'm just loving that you are so open to the fact that it can take years
Sure it can.
for this to get you to a manageable level, or that the manageable level may not be this total forgiveness of this person, but that you're not carrying the energy anymore, even if it isn't a total forgiveness of this person, and that it's an individual experience.
I have a number 10 person. I got him down to a 4 or 5. Remember, I literally wrote the book on this stuff. And they're still alive, which is why I'm not saying the name. Um, will I ever be able to forgive this person? Probably not. I have forgiven every part of the memory. I have forgiven every part of the energy. And it's taken me months and years to get them where they are now. And I'm at peace with it. Now, will I
Mhm.
eventually be able to toss them completely? Yeah, eventually I will. But this is a journey. And when you're dealing with an unforgivable somebody in your past, and even number 10s have levels. Is it a high 10, a medium 10, or a low 10? But you've got
Mhm.
that 1, 10, 10. It's the highest of the high dumpster fire. This is going to take a little minute. Give yourself a break. Forgive other things within the memory. Don't even think about forgiving the person yet. Pick out other parts of the memory. Pick out other memories. Pick out cities that you were with this person. Even if it's
Mm.
something horrific like you were attacked in a park, you can forgive the park, the table, the bench, the chair. There's other things you can forgive.
Yeah.
Constant, and
And
then
you'll
forgive
know when
yourself.
you've reached the right level for you because it's about the peace that you find in the experience.
Yeah, I mean, the way you know you've forgiven somebody is if you can look at their name and you don't care. Years
Mm.
ago, I've had a lot of business, clients and associates, but a couple in particular kind of never mind, right? They let's just say
Yeah.
they ended up on the list, right?
Yeah.
And I did all my forgiveness stuff, and I was on Facebook one day, and I saw their name, and usually seeing their name would send me to the stratosphere, right? I didn't care. And I caught myself. I was actually sitting right here in this office, and I thought, "I don't care." And it was like this aha moment. It's like, "Wait a minute. I don't care." Even wish them a happy birthday. That's the sweet spot. You won't care. You're not gonna think good thoughts. You're not gonna think bad thoughts. You won't care. We're at neutrality, baby, and that's what you want. You don't care. I
Yes.
can see this person at a party, or I can see their name on Facebook or whatever social media, and I don't care. That's what you're going for because now they're out of your head.
And thank you for normalizing having such a visceral response to seeing someone's name because that is something that, like, 5 seconds ago, I thought of 5 other really big high level people I need to forgive. So, gonna work on that at some point. But I
She's up to 10,
remember,
but we're not counting.
I
Remember, I had it
remember
less than
seeing
60, so
them,
there you go.
right? I remember seeing them, like, their name when they would request me as, like, a Facebook friend, and the second I saw their name, oh, it was awful, like, every single thing
Yeah.
that you could possibly feel at once,
Yep.
and yeah, you're exactly right, getting to a place where they could send me a friend request, and I could either accept or decline. I'm allowed to decline, and that doesn't mean I haven't forgiven, but that neutrality piece is so big, but I think you just really put words to something that I couldn't really explain before,
Yeah.
except for to say, "I don't know, it's a trigger when I see them." I mean, that was obvious, but it was the all of this energy that their name held, and it would just
But imagine if you could live your life without those emotional triggers. See,
Yes,
that's the thing
exactly.
about our society. We're all about other people's problems and hate and all these things, and we love the blood and the guts and all this kind of stuff. But imagine if we could live a life. I know I'm dreaming. I get that. But imagine we could live a life where we don't have the triggers. So the person that you came down to this planet to be, your soul came down to accomplish something on this planet because all our souls have a goal.
Yeah,
Now you can become what your soul wanted you to become. You can be your authentic self because you're not weighed down by the anger and your past. You're actually able to live in the moment because now you don't have you've neutralized your past. Now you don't care. And remember what I said, and I mean this from my heart. Just because you forgive them doesn't mean you want a relationship with them. You probably
right.
don't. That trips up everybody. You can forgive
Yeah,
somebody and walk away from them forever and not look back.
absolutely. Well, and even like you used the Aunt Karen at Christmas example, some people, like maybe it wasn't an offense to you that was such a high number that you felt you needed to cut off contact. Because I know plenty of people are like, well, I'm not coming if they're going to be there. And that's fine for
Exactly.
them. But if you're not there, that's okay too. Like you get to determine where these people are on the scale and what the impact of that number is for you as well.
Yeah, and the people who say, "If they're there, I'm not coming," I respect that. That's a
Mm
boundary.
hmm.
You've drawn your line in the sand. That's fair, and I think that's reasonable. However, you need to be a however. I still think you need to forgive them because you're forgiving for you. They're living rent-free in your head.
Mm hmm.
And that's the problem. It's all you can think about. It's all you can dream about. They're living in, no, no, I do others. Sure, you do. But we're having this conversation right now. They're in your head. And as I'm speaking this, there's a bunch of people out there with a name in their head. Everybody's thinking of that one person
Mm
that they
hmm.
can't get out. Maybe it was current person. Maybe it's somebody from 20, 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. They're still living in your head. Well, they passed
Yeah.
away, so I can't do anything. Sure you can. You can still get closure. You just have closure to a chair in your room, when you're doing my system. This is
Yeah.
all possible, and you can breathe again, and you can live your life. The only reason you haven't reached your dream job, your dream, health, and all of these things is because you're walking through life through a haze of anger. So once you
Mhm.
start to release all of that anger, now you can pay attention. Your dream relationship just walked into the room. Well, you missed it before. Why? Because you were so focused on your anger and your past and the dysfunction. And society is playing off that. You're watching movies that are just compounding all of this. Oh yeah, I remember that. I went through something similar. See what it's doing? So now you can actually see that dream person or that cancer cure or that money-making opportunity, because now you're not going to miss it, because
Mhm.
you've opened up the closet and you've made room in your brain for other things. And that's all
Exactly.
we're
Well,
going
and
to do.
your whole mindset shifts at that point.
It does. I can call up, let's say my parents were still alive. They died years ago, and I did forgive dead people. But I probably could call up my father and have a relatively decent conversation with them. Here's how you have a conversation with a narcissist. It's real easy. Taught my son how to do it just a couple weeks ago. And I can do it in 30 seconds or less. They won't ask about your life because they won't. But if they do, you give them one gold nugget. Pick something. I don't care what it is. One gold nugget about your life. Something you don't really care about, right? And then you flip the conversation back on them. That's how you talk to a narcissist. You keep the conversation on them and off you. You talk about their life, their kids, their dreams, everything. And then they ask a question, one gold nugget, and you flip it right back. And they will think you're the
You're
best
so
thing
right.
since sliced bread.
Yep. Well, because they
There you
live in
go.
their
Class
ego.
dismissed. We're good.
I love it. Man, thank you so much for being here. Okay, what is the name of your book again? This
It's
latest
the
one that you
ultimate path
released?
to forgiveness, unlocking your power. You froze again. Back.
Mercury retrograde's trying to get us. Okay, the name of the book is what?
The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness, Unlocking Your Power. It's available on Amazon and via my website at katharinegiovanni.com. And Katharine is spelled a little odd thanks to my mother. Thanks, Mom. It's Katharine Giovanni.com. And I also have the audiobook available in case people just don't like to read. So that's available too.
Oh, awesome. Is that on Audible or
It is. It is.
Okay, great.
My younger son is a TV news producer, so he produced the audiobook, and we're still talking to each other. So there you go. This stuff,
That's
it's
a
not
good
as
thing.
this is not, you watch these voiceovers in the cartoons. It is not easy. It's really, you think you give somebody a microphone and they read the script and boom, they're done. Mm-mm. This stuff is
No.
hard. They are earning their pay when they do that. So
Wow. You're right, I did think it was easy, so I'm glad you told me
it is not.
that.
It is not. And we're still talking to each other. Yeah, it is not.
Well, you're a good mom, of course you are. Well, I really appreciate you. Is there anything final words, anything that you feel like you didn't get to touch on? Anything you wanna wrap up with?
I just want people to know that they are worthy enough to live a life of love and joy and prosperity and peace and health. You are worthy. It is your birthright. You are good enough. You can do this. You are worthy. So many people think I'm not worthy, so I'm just going to crawl into a rock. And it's not true. Your birthright is you are worthy. You are a diamond. And I just want
Mm.
people to know that.
I love that. Well, thank you, Catherine. I've really loved this conversation. I'm definitely going to use these practices for myself because I didn't even realize I still had a lot going on in there. They're the medium level people that I just don't realize until have a conversation like this. Like, oh, yeah, I need to forgive that. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Hey, make sure you've given the show a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to if you haven't already. And check out my website, empoweredwithmelisahepner.org, or my link tree on Instagram at melissa.hepner to check out my latest offers or workshops. Emotionally unavailable. All right, that's it from me. So make sure that you check out the show notes for links. And until next time, let's all just keep swimming. Emotionally unavailable.
INDEPE and cut.